Well, I won't be discussing this alone. I have with me Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV senior analyst. Good morning, Charles. Nice to have you here.
Good morning, Dark Boy. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we did this together last week and we're starting the week again. Okay. How was the weekend?
Well, I think it was cool.
Well, that's good. Let's go into the discussion proper. We'll start with the first one we have here about the warning from the IMF about higher food prices. So what's your take on this?
Well, it's not coming as a surprise because we were all here. We witnessed the challenging situations, the flood, and all that. And even before the flood, we've seen food inflation, especially energy, costs has really gone so high. And of course, the flooding, which affected most farmers, and of course, other related individuals. And of course, we have also predicted that with this flooding, of course, most agricultural crops were destroyed. People couldn't go to their farms. So it's obvious harvest is going to be low. And of course, once the supply is low, of course, prices is bound to be high. So it's not, IMF is just trying to remind us. So we've expected this. And I think the government, too, kudos to them. They're also planning what they call a dry season farming and all that, so that they'll be able to supplement, they'll be able to augment, the shortage of some of these products.
Well, how effective do you think these government policies will be?
Yes, the government have said they're going to be doing dry season farming and at the same time improve in terms of storage, because one of the problems we have today, when we produce, before these goods or before these products gets to the final consumer, from the farm, most of them get spoiled. So the government is also going to, or they've agreed and they're going to do it, to invest in storage facilities so that no matter how little this harvest is, they'll be able to store it properly so that they will stay for a longer shelf life, and at the end of the day, they will be able to meet the needs of the teeming population when it comes to agricultural products.
That's a very nice one. Don't let's dally on that, since it's something we've always been discussing.
Of course.
Yeah, let's now move to the second topic today, about the Startup Act. We saw President Muhammadu Buhari sign that in October last month. And now they are calling on states to adopt it and implement it. So what do you make of this?
According to lawyers, to codify it.
Yeah, well, codify it.
Just seeing, okay, federal government has done this nationally, let's bring it down to the state and see how we can also encourage the startup. Yes, basically, I think it's the right step in the right direction. And looking at the act itself, it shows that the government has now come to realize that these tech startups are the place to go now, because we are seeing with some of these applications here and there, you can just sit in the comfort of your home and you do certain things, So, but to encourage that innovation, there must be a policy willingly, deliberately by the government. And that's what, by signing this bill into act, which is going to be a law now, is very commendable. And if you look at the processes in which, since last year, they call for stakeholders, so many people. It
is one of the bills that was initiated by people that are not in government.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the most important, if you look at that bill itself, okay, it's an act now, it's an act now. You see that on the council of the technology ecosystem, you find out that you have these tech people, the young people on that council. You also have the central bank governor. You also have the president, the vice president. You also have Minister for Finance.
Yes.
You also have the Minister for Digital Economy, and Communication.
Yes.
Then, of course, Trade, Investment and Industry.
Yeah.
So you can see that you now have the government people, you now have the operators together. So anything that's affecting that sector now, the startup tech sector, it will be addressed quickly because everybody is there now.
Yeah, there's this worry. They say that it's only in majority of firms, tech startup concentrated here in Lagos. Isn't this a source of worry?
Yeah, that's also a problem. Because if you look at the tech startup all over, even in Africa, Nigeria has the highest number, but at the same time, we also have the highest failure rates.
Yes.
So these companies will start before you know what they are failed. And Tunisia, Senegal have also done their own. Yes, that is one of the issues that this act is going to address, has already addressing it. They want to see where some of these startups will not just be only in Lagos or some state capital. So it's going to be a deliberate effort by the act, of course, the ecosystem, to ensure that we have it not only in Lagos, not only in the various state capital, but also some other areas in the, even in fact some of the rural area, because you could have a lot of gifted people in some of these areas. And of course, they're encouraging those who are already in it to establish kind of an hub in some of these rural areas. That's
a very good one. I hope that we will have a course to revisit this discussion and look at the very.
Of course, we are tracking it, because that's tech startup is the place to go on.
It's the way to go. Yeah, speaking of the place to go on, the man is telling the government not to go to that route that it plans on going, because one of the things they've been saying that they want to increase taxes on carbonated drinks. Yes, on carbonated drinks, on sugar taxes.
Yes, sugar tax. Well, you look at it from two ways. Yes, those who are health advocates will say yes, it's good. It's a way of trying to reduce sugar-related illnesses, maybe diabetics and go. But again, if you ask me personally, I think we already have a tax, an excise duty on it already. So I will not encourage the government to go and increase, because when you increase, most people cannot afford it any longer again. And of course, it's going to affect, they employ a lot of people. What I think the government should do, just like what you do for even the alcoholic or even for tobacco, you know, you make people believe that taking this drink, you are liable to have
there must be a caveat.
Yeah, so that anybody who is going to take it is consciously and is aware of what he or she is doing. And at the same time, of course, most of those companies even encourage responsible drinking. So you could take some of these carbonated sugar drink not too often, so that we can keep some of these workers to have a job. But at the same time, we need to also be cautious of our health.
Because they complain that there's already a 10 naira. So for maybe if you buy a drink of 100 naira, government gets 10 naira.
Yes.
So they want to now increase that again. On the business side, it's not very profitable.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
We need these companies to stay, because these are the people that contribute.
Yes, they are staying, but we're not saying they are staying does not mean it has to be a problem to our health. So that's why we are saying, okay, let them put a caveat. You know, taking this drink, you're likely, to have sugar-related illness. But at the same time, we need to ensure that people who are taking this drink, they are aware of what they are doing. Not that they are not aware, they just take and they begin to have this health-related, sugar-related health problem. So the government can do a lot, but I will not encourage them to increase it again by another 20%.
All right, let's go to the next one. Nigeria exports 36% value-added products. By the definition of value-added products, these are raw agricultural products that have been modified to have a higher market value and longer shelf life. That is, we are exporting. What do you...
Yes, for any nation to achieve that optimal revenue, right, it deserves, you don't just export raw. Even in fact, let me even digress. Take our crude. It's under the ground. We just bring it out without adding it in and we export. Now, the same thing for agricultural products. You get more value when you add value to it. You kind of process it before exporting. Take cocoa, for example. We produce cocoa here in the country, and we just export. The people over there, they get that cocoa, process it, and we now import it back as maybe chocolates, so many other things, cocoa drinks and all that, so many other things that you can see we're even paying more. So it is not just exporting. For we to export any product, let our exporters see how this product can be modified, value added to it, so that we will get more revenue when we are exporting. I'm happy that the agency is saying they registered over to 2,000 new exporters. But at the same time, they should begin to create that awareness that for you to begin to export, add value to your products.
That's a very, very good one. And they said the CEO for NEPC, Ezra Yakusak, said that Nigerian firms are imbibing the value addition culture in exports. And what are the ways that the government can improve more export?
Yes, the CEO or the head of that agency have already said it, they're not imbibing because they are responsible for that business to ensure that our exporters are giving that reorientation, not just to get this agricultural product, value addition to those products before they are being exported.
Many people complain that it's difficult to export because of the many hoops that people have to jump through.
Yes, that's where the ease of business comes in now. So that agency, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, it is now their responsibility to ensure that all those obstacles, difficulties that are involved in trying to make exportation a difficult business for Nigerians has to be taken care of. When they are able to do that, then they will now begin to tell these exporters value addition. And I'm very happy he's saying they are gradually imbibing the value addition before they export most of these agricultural products.
That's a very nice place to put the end to the discussion. Thank you very much, Charles Fakroa, iBrandTV's senior analyst. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. When we come back, the Nigerian exchange all share increased by 1.22% in 5 days of trading last week. It's closed at 44,492.73 points, while the market capitalization wrapped at 24.234 trillion. I'll be looking at these and more when we come back from the break. Please stay tuned.